we'll keep moving on. Our next speaker is Iqbal, Elyazar. He's going to tell us about using GPS to track people. You're welcome to give your talk.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to talk about the use of GPS device to tracking a movement of your beloved beautiful wife or handsome husband. But actually, we would like to know about the profiling of movement of the high-risk population, especially in particular for a forest worker in Aceh province. So this is part of the collaborative research team among the Ekman Institute of Biomedical Research Institute, UCSF, Ministry of Health, Provincial Health Office, and District Health Office, and as well as UNICEF. So I would like to talk about the local context of malaria situation in this province, and that followed by research motivation, methodology and approach, and after that preliminary result, and then further work and plan for this kind of data set and the usability of the tracking device based on the perception, the study participation, and the acknowledgements. This is the location of the study site. So we selected a study site in the western part, the most western part of Indonesia, in Aceh province. Because in the previous study in this province, we observed the high proportion, high malaria burden among the forest workers, especially in this province. As you can see here, when you have a forest-related job, you are strongly associated with the probability of getting infection, and also the distance of your workplace in the forest also strongly linkage with the probability of getting infection. And you have experience to visit the forest in the last month, you also have the higher probability of getting infection. And you can see here from this province, we also observe the high proportion of Plasmodium knowledge presence in these areas. Okay. This is the vulnerable forest worker actually. So the characteristic of the forest worker in these areas, an active young male, and the forest-related job, so the higher probability of you getting infection. And if you sleep overnight in the forest, you also have the higher probability of getting infection. This is the illustration of the forest mining activities in the particular site in Aceh province. So based on the malaria routine data assembled from the government health facility in the last 3 years, we observed that the variety of malaria burden in Aceh Besar and Aceh Jaya district. So for example, in Aceh Besar, the falciparum vivax dominated the malaria profile in this district. However, in Aceh Jaya, the vivax contributed over 90% of total cases in this district. So what the type of the forest worker? In Aceh Besar, the dominated forest-related activity is a forest logger or woodcutter. You can see here, you can see here, over 50% of those forest-related activities contributed by the forest logger. But in Aceh Jaya, almost 90% of the forest-related activities contributed by the miners, because there are a lot of gold mining activities in this area, especially in the mountain. So by giving information from that previous study, so we launched a project to understand more about what happened, what the kind of intervention, effective intervention to approach the forest worker. The project aimed to targeting the case detection strategy, especially for this high population risk. The study duration 2 years as a part of collaboration among this institute and funded by the Gates Foundation through UCSF. This is the overall objective of the study, and you can see here the GPS logger movement analysis, only a small piece of the overall project. So the objective of the tracking using the tracking device is to explore the movement type of forest worker and then to identify the most common location that forest worker visited. And we expect to see the primary outcome, for example, proportion of individual time spent in the forest, friends, and then village settlement. We also want to estimate the distance of trip made by the forest worker. And in the end, we also would like to know about the proportion of individual time spent, in particular the malaria high-risk area and low-risk area. So these are two locations in the Aceh Besar. So we selected Lembah Selawah. This is the profile of the logging activities. And in Aceh Jaya district, there are gold mining activities in the month of Ujeng, month of rain here. Why we select two districts? Because these two districts represented the most district with the higher malaria burden, and especially also the reported presence of Plasmodium knowlesi. So this is the GPS tracking device that we use for the study, as small as this. The name is iGoChew. The version is GT100. And you can see here, this is very small, especially when you sit in the back. So, but the price is not as small as the size. The price is $50 US. And they stopped this kind of version. They produced the new version, GT120, with the price about $70 US. So this is the device that we use. So every participant, we deliver a GPS package, the one unit GPS logger, and then 1 unit of battery charger, and also the USB cable like this. And then 8 batteries for replacement, and a quick reference manual in Indonesian language. We also provide a simple card of instruction. This is the instruction in English, but actually we put in Bahasa Indonesia, Indonesian language. Keep GPS device with you all the times. Don't try to give your GPS device to anyone else to wear or to keep. And when always place the GPS exposed to the open sky, and make sure you charge GPS device using charger every Friday, because Friday is a holiday in the, it's not a holiday, but Friday, there's a religious activities on the Friday. And then don't forget to return GPS device to the study team at the end of the first month and the second month. So after they return the GPS device, we replace with a new device. Okay, the sample size. We expect to recruit 20 index cases identified at health facility who reported recent forest work. We also want to recruit 40 negative malaria forest worker as a control associated with those previous index cases, and then 20 negative individual as control identified at health facilities. The exclusion criteria: forest worker, the age of above 18 years old, and willingness to wear the device for 2 months. And they also need to provide the written informed consent. And we set up the tracking device to keep or to record the location every 15 minutes. Okay. This is design of evaluation. As you can see here, this is the index cases. This is the group of control. This is the control, and also, and after 1 month, they return the tracking device to health facility, to our study coordinator. At the same time, we also collect the blood sample, and then we will identify using microscopy, LAM, or PCR. And the same happened in the second month. So this is the preliminary analysis of this study. As you can see here, the x-axis represents the month of enrollment, and the y-axis represents the number of participants. The problem we face during the study is the slow recruitment rate of index participation. It means that the declining of malaria cases in those study areas. One of the possible reasons is the declining number of the miners from this area because they found another prospective mining in another district. So as you can see from the table, we expect to recruit 80, but at the end, we got 87 participants. We have less number in case group here, and also less number in control group here. That's why as a compensation, we increase the number of control health facility here, 53 people instead of 20 people. During the study, during the 2 months, 18 people dropped out from the study because they withdraw, they refuse to continue the study, and also the reason because they moved to outside study areas. At the end, we have 69 of individuals completed the study. Overall, we obtained over 4,000 days of observation during these 2 months of data collection. You can see here, this is the example of the movement of those individuals, especially in the Aceh Besar here. This is the mountain here, this is the mountain here, and this is the, each point represents the location that recorded by tracking device. Okay. This is one example of individual movement history. X-axis is the day of observation, and the y-axis is the distance from home in kilometer. As you can see here, in the early observations, so this individual, they have only very short distance from their resident. But after 25 days, they trip to somewhere over 10 kilometers from their house, and they remain in the site. So this possible location is in the mining activities. So if you would like to profile the all individual, this is, you will see that variety of movement history from those our study participants. You can see from the sample here, we view this subject as further distance participant. But compared to this one, you can see here, during our study, this participant only move around within 3 kilometers around their residence. So you can imagine your life, you only movement within the 3 kilometers around your house. But this is the village setting. So from this analysis, and then we can see that how many proportion of your time during our data collection you spend time in the forest, fringe, and settlement, especially in the cases in the Aceh Besar, almost 40% of your time you spend in the forest in the cases. But for the control health facility, we see that over 60% of your time, this individual spend their time in settlement. So they didn't go to the forest or forest area. So the situation is relatively similar to the Aceh Jaya province. So in the cases, spend more time in forest area than control, and control travel more within the non-forested area or around their settlement. So what about the distance of daily trip from home? So we got information, we got the data with the summary data that in average for the index cases, they travel around 3 kilometers the daily trip for each year in night, but during the night, they travel further. It's about 8 kilometers. The number is higher compared to the control group. So in the cases, travel further from home than control individual during the daylight and night. So this is the further plan that we would like to, we just completed the study last month, and then we are still doing the analysis, then we would like to do more. So we would like to overlay, the accurate land use in order to get information about how much time we spend, how much time each individual spend in settlement, farm plantation, forest fringe, forest or mining area. And also we would like to overlay this information with the malaria risk map. At the end of the study, we interview the participant. We ask the questions. Did you forget to carry out your device at any time? So almost 30% of those individuals admit that they forgot to carry out their device during the study. And we ask, we ask more, how many days did you forget to carry it? Mostly they mentioned about less than 7 days. But interestingly, one individual, this individual forget 50 days. So it's not about the forget, but probably it's about reluctance. And then the next question is, did you notice that battery on your device ran out at any point of time? And over 20% of those individuals say yes. And how many days were the device is auto battery? It's about 2 to 15 days. And the last questions, we asked about it. How do you feel about the device you have been carrying? 3% of them complained seriously. They said that not at all comfortable. 42% they said, not very comfortable, but majority of them, 52%, is neutral. Okay lah, no problem with this. I can wear this device. But there is no people in the study. They said that I want to wear the GPS. No. So we see that not many people with interested to use the kind of device. No problem at all. Thank you. So the last one is the problem you encounter with the GPS device, and they said that they're afraid the device get damaged, wet, misplaced sometimes because it's so small, and they forget to charge GPS and forget to bring GPS. And people always ask what the device it was. I think the last slide is the last slide is the question about the last question is about any suggestion to making GPS data collection smoother, and a few of them said a little bit more incentive, and also they suggest the water resistant device and the longer duration of battery supply in the study. So thank you for all study participants involved in the study, and thank you for our partner in this institute. Thank you.